Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for today's Day in the Life. Today we're going to be chatting to Cully. Hi Cully.
Hi Abigail, how are you?
Thank you for joining us today. We'll come back and find out a little bit more about you in a minute. First of all, for those of you watching who are new to Supermums, a quick introduction. We're empowering mums and some super dads with Salesforce skills all across the globe. We've trained over 300 mums and some dads with our Supermums courses now. We work with a lot of charities where Supermums on our admin course volunteer some pro bono hours to put their skills to the test. So it's really great we have that relationship where we're helping nonprofits too. Loads of fantastic mentors, and perhaps Cully can talk a little bit about her experience of both of those things later on. And we've got several courses across different time zones. And that's one of the really great things about our courses. It doesn't matter where you are, you can still participate with courses out of European and Pacific Coast USA time zones. We've also got loads of great companies who support our work, including St James's Place Wealth Management, who are supporters of our admin course. And also with Cully, we're going to be talking a little bit about our consultancy course today. So we've got a bit of a 2-for-1 as Cully has taken both of those courses with us. So thanks very much to our key partners we can see here. So yeah, Cully, we're going to have a chat with you now. Thanks for joining me today. Do you want to give us just a brief intro to yourself, kind of where you are, what you're doing right now, and then we'll talk a little bit about the journey and how you got there.
Absolutely. So my name's Kully. I initially started on the Salesforce Admin course, I think it was last year, and then continued with the Consultancy Skills course just to sort of help, I think, bridge my skills with what I'd already been doing. Little bit of background about myself. I was living and working in Dubai with my husband and 2 daughters up until last year. So I've spent the last sort of 7 years, the last stint living in Dubai, where I initially worked for an oil and gas company, and that's where I was actually introduced to the Salesforce system. Now, due to the nature of the business, we didn't have the full access to Salesforce, so I guess my interest grew from there, and that's why eventually I decided to actually go and do the Supermums course, which I found on LinkedIn, and decided to build my knowledge in that area. And I'm glad I did, because it actually does give you great in-depth and hands-on knowledge of the admin customizations and stuff that you have to do as well.
Yeah, great. And what made you think kind of the Supermums program specifically might be the right kind of way for you to learn?
You know, it was actually potluck, because I was on LinkedIn just scrolling through jobs, seeing what's available. And one of the ads that came up was the Supermums for the Salesforce Administrator course. So it was just, it fitted in really nicely with what I was trying to think of what I wanted to do. And it actually just so happened to come up. It was, you know, one of those lucky things, I guess. Yeah. So I got in touch with Heather, who had a discussion with me. I was still in Dubai at the time. So, you know, I did this long distance. And it worked out really well. Yes, there is a cost element involved, but actually, you know what, if you invest in yourself, there is rewards at the end of it. Yeah, the way that Heather spoke to me about the course, it was fantastic. All the skills that you can learn, what they would offer. And so, yes, I just went ahead with it and started the admin course.
And our course is a little bit different to some others because it includes that element of work experience and the mentorship as well. Did you find that useful?
Mentorship I found immensely useful. My mentor was a lady that lived in Europe, not in England either. She had a whole wealth of experience, and it was actually really useful. We'd set up weekly meetings, so it was either FaceTime or Zoom or something of the kind. You know, I'd go through any of the questions I had, which I was stuck on. And you know, she gave me her opinion and told me if I was going wrong somewhere. And again, even if it wasn't a weekly session that I attended online with her, she was happy for me to send her emails, and you know, she'd send me sort of responses that way as well. And I just think it really helps for you to understand what you're learning, because you make mistakes. You start something, you make mistakes, but you learn from them. But having that mentor there as a support network was really, really helpful. I think that's one of the best things about the program as well, to be honest.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's just so useful, and a big part of Supermums and what we try to make sure there is this kind of level of support and a community around you, which I think can be particularly important, especially maybe if you are kind of moving around quite a lot. I think that's a nice thing about Supermums and getting involved in Salesforce in general, right, is this sense of community. And you've moved around quite a lot and now come back to the UK. Have you found that kind of through Supermums and Salesforce that has been helpful and helped you, I guess, how has working in Salesforce helped you live that kind of lifestyle? Has it been beneficial?
Absolutely, enormously. I mean, I've got 2 children, and I, as discussed with yourself before, Abigail, I've moved back to England, just myself, my 2 daughters, so husband still living and working in Dubai. Just even the transition from Dubai to England, I was in touch with the recruitment team at Supermums before moving back, in order to secure myself a position. At the time, I was looking for anything, whether it was temporary or full-time or even remote. Recruitment team were absolutely phenomenal in searching for roles and keeping that regular contact with me. So soon after coming back, I got my first contract role within just a few months. I'm now on my new contract role with Supermums as well. So it's a matter of, as soon as something's coming to an end, get in touch with recruitment, and they help you so much. It's that constant sort of feedback they're giving you, if there's anything available, if there's anything that they think is particularly suitable to my skill level. And again, I found that even if I was abroad, I could still have done the job that I'm doing today, because regardless of it being COVID, this particular contract I'm working on is a fully remote role. I'm based in England at the moment, and the role is actually in Berlin in Germany. So it works wonders. I can work around the girls in terms of dropping off to school, picking up. The flexibility, I think, has been amazing. I remember working before where I was constantly worried about can't be late leaving the office because I need to pick the children up. That worry disappears, and I think it helps you relax so much more, and you have that additional focus, which I think is
when you're in that frame of mind as well, right? You can, if you're not worried about that kind of thing, you can actually focus when you need to and actually do your job better.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, it's so, it's such a kind of privilege, especially at the moment, and you moved in the middle of a global pandemic and got a new job as well. It's just so fantastic and such a great achievement. And I guess I want to talk a little bit about that process and the skills you've gathered along the way, and the things, the reasons you decided to choose to invest in yourself that has then helped land you in this position. So you did the admin course, fantastic, really enjoyed it, but you've also enrolled on our consultancy course as well. So I want to talk a little bit about kind of why you decided to do that and why you thought it was an important investment, and if that has had an impact on where you are now.
Sure, yeah. I mean, my background in terms of career and my degree was always around information systems. So I guess it was never actually a full career change for me, but more so a focus in on one area and one information system. And I guess once I had done the admin course, it gave you the hands-on experience in terms of the back end of the system, how to build things, how to create things, and build flows, etc. And I think for me, in terms of the type of person I am, I'd like to expand my skills. I always like to learn something new. So when the consultancy course was available, and I thought, this is actually going to be fantastic. It sort of links very nicely, and it builds that, it's almost building that gap, isn't it, between your admin and consultancy skills course. So, I mean, being on that has enabled me to sort of get the confidence to really question what a business are after, really sort of dig deep and find out the full business requirements, and it really does help you in terms of the questioning techniques And I think without the consultancy skills course, you often sort of, go off on a different tangent, but this really sort of, nails down exactly what you need to be asking and how to gather the most information that's going to be beneficial for us to make a recommendation, which is going to then benefit the business and increase return on investment as well.
It's really practical, and you've been able to kind of put those skills into use almost immediately in your role.
Yes,
Great.
Absolutely.
And you signed up to the consultancy course in the January and got your new role in the May. Is that right? Yeah. So do you think that has an impact on you being able to kind of get that role, whether it be about specific skills or your level of confidence just to go for it?
I think it was probably a lot to do with my level of confidence. I think, when you're speaking at an interview, I mean, interview is always a bit of a daunting thing for anybody, but when you've been on either the admin course or the consultancy skills course and you've read upon certain material, you have that level of confidence at an interview stage to actually show somebody what you've learned, what you're still looking at learning, and your ambition for the system as well. And I think, that actually shines through. So that confidence is a huge part of, I think, the consultancy skills course, because it just teaches you really, in a way, how to sell yourself in what you're wanting to do.
Yeah, because that is part of the course, right? So you have the sections about kind of like gaining buy-in for the program for Salesforce and what you're trying to do. And I think a lot of that does translate to your own personal confidence as well.
It does, definitely, yeah.
Is there a bit of the course that's been like especially useful or that you really enjoyed?
We're talking about either the Salesforce admin or the consultancy here?
A little bit more specifically around consultancy, I guess, although you can throw in anything you particularly enjoyed about admin as well.
Yeah, so with the consultancy skills course, I think, the whole Agile methodology has been sort of a real big part of the skills course for me, because again, it teaches you certain ways of working, where historically I may have looked at a particular way of working and not really have delved deep into Agile. But again, this really teaches you of the correct methodologies that you can use as well. Additional to that, I would say that the whole business analysis side of things was a huge part of it, because it really teaches you how to, to ask those questions, to gather those requirements. Whereas often, if you're not asking the right types of questions, or you're not following the right line of questioning, you're not really going to get back from a business or the stakeholders what you're really looking for. So I think the whole questioning side of it has been really, really good for me.
Great, yeah, and I've heard that quite a few times now, because you can only do a good job if you know what they need, but sometimes people don't know how to tell you what they need, right? So it's about you using those investigative skills to draw out what you need to know so you can do a good job. Yeah. So I'm really glad that's been useful for you.
Yeah, I mean, before doing this course, I think often that, I may have asked questions in my previous contract role, which may have not been the correct line of questioning. But again, it comes with experience. It comes with going over the material again and again to see what you can actually get out of it. And, it's really, really good that the consultancy skills course, all of the information, all of the course material is readily available, which we can all download and use, in our roles as well.
Yeah, it's very applicable, and it's a little bit different in structure to something like our admin course, isn't it, where you have all that material ready available to work through at your own pace. And I guess if you're doing something in work that's particularly, there's something particularly relevant to something you're doing now, you can maybe review that section of it as and when you need to, which is really handy. And then you've got a whole year's worth of the live sessions to be able to go to, where you can keep coming back and keep reflecting with Heather and the team about what you're doing and how you're applying it, and have that level of support for a little while.
That's right, yeah, absolutely.
Lovely. Well, so I mean, come a long way, lots of changes over the last year or so for you, both professionally and personally. So I should think just settling into things for a little while is probably the main thing for you at the moment. But what are your kind of longer term ambitions around Salesforce, and kind of what are you looking to achieve?
I mean, at the moment, my plans are to finish the Consultancy Skills course and hopefully sit one of the Consultancy Skills exams. I'm hoping to do that in the new year at some point once I've got everything completed. I'd like to spend at least the next year getting sort of up to scratch. Yes, I'm in a Salesforce consultant role, but I'd really like to cement my understanding, my learning. You know, if tomorrow I get another job as a consultant, I want to be able to go in somewhere, gather somebody's requirements and be 100% confident in what I'm recommending to them. And you know what? Salesforce is such a huge system, so many possibilities. I'd like to think that I will then continue to do other courses and exams along the way.
Yeah, well, good luck with it. You've, you know, come so far and it's such a great achievement, everything you've done in the last couple of years. So well done to you, and thank you for sharing your story with us.
Not a problem at all. Thank you very much, Abigail.
Thank you. If, like Cully, you would like to get into Salesforce Consultancy, Supermums is here to help. We've got a few different courses depending on what level you're at. We do indeed have the Administrator course, like Cully started with, that runs 4 times a year. Our next one of those coming up in in February. And we've also got the Consultancy course, which has a monthly start date. So you can start it as and when you need to and fit it around any work commitments you've got. So if you are interested in learning more about those, do get in touch with us. We've got some great information packs on the website. I'd invite you to download those, have a read, and then book in a call with myself or one of my colleagues, and we can talk about your personal situation if the training is right for you. We've also got lots of information and some great resources all over our social media, so do get following us. Thanks very much, Cully.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.